Rain hit the glass like tiny fists that night, echoing the storm inside her chest. Maya stood frozen in the doorway. The image burned into her mind. The man she once called her world, laughing with someone else under golden lights. No explanations, no misunderstandings, just the cruel clarity of betrayal. She had come to tell him about their future, their child. Instead, she watched him trade their dreams for a moment of convenience. Her silence screamed louder than words. She didn't wait for him to notice her. The city blurred around her as she walked away, every step heavier than the last. By the time she reached their apartment, she wasn't crying. Not yet. She simply packed quietly, each fold of fabric a farewell. When he finally called her name from behind the door, she didn't turn back. She placed the ring on the counter, left the keys beside it, and whispered to the empty room, "You made your choice." Outside, the rain drenched her completely, but she didn't run. She wanted it to wash away everything, the plans, the promises, the pain. That night, she vanished from his world without a trace, holding the secret of 2 heartbeats growing inside her. And while he celebrated another empty victory, she boarded a train bound for nowhere, carrying nothing but courage, heartbreak, and the beginning of a story he'd one day regret losing forever. 3 years passed, but every dawn still carried the faint echo of that night. Maya now lived in a quiet coastal town where the waves whispered instead of the city's noise. Her world revolved around 2 small miracles, Liam and Noah, twin boys with eyes as bright as the man she once loved and the spirit of the woman she had become. They were her reason, her fight, her healing. Life wasn't easy. She worked nights designing websites for local shops, barely sleeping, barely resting, but it was hers. Some mornings she would catch their reflection in the window, 2 little heads pressed together as they colored the walls with laughter, and her chest would ache with a mixture of love and loss. The world that once rejected her ambition now couldn't see the strength she carried quietly. She never spoke of their father, not once. To the twins, she was both the sunrise and the shelter. But sometimes when the night turned too still and her sons finally drifted off to sleep, Maya found herself wondering, did he ever regret it? Did he ever feel the emptiness of what he had thrown away? She would shake the thought away, promising herself never to look back. Yet destiny has a way of circling back when we least expect it. And in the silence between heartbeats, something was already shifting. Something that would bring her face to face with the past she thought was buried forever. It happened on a golden Sunday morning when life felt almost perfect. Maya took Liam and Noah to the local park, their laughter rising higher than the wind. A street photographer asked to capture the 3 of them. Just a simple photo, he said, for a Mothers of Strength project. She agreed, unaware that moment would rewrite her piece. Days later, her face and her son's identical smiles flooded social media. The post went viral. Single mother raises twin boys alone after heartbreak. The internet adored them. But somewhere across the country, a man froze mid-interview as that image appeared on his screen. Aaron Reed, the name that once ruled boardrooms, now felt his world tilt. Those boys, those eyes, were his. His breath caught as the truth crashed in. He hadn't seen her since that stormy night when pride spoke louder than love. He had built an empire since, but nothing filled the hollow space she left behind. And now, staring at that photo, he realized what he had truly lost. That night, Maya's inbox chimed. One message, no subject, no explanations, just 3 words that made her hands tremble. Maya, it's me. The past she buried had found her. For the first time in years, she felt fear, not for herself, but for the fragile world she had built for her sons. Maya stared at the message for hours, her heart racing in quiet panic. The world she had built on strength suddenly felt fragile again. She wanted to delete it, pretend she never saw it, but her fingers hovered over the screen, trembling. Memories she had locked away came rushing back, the warmth of his hand, the way he used to say her name, and the silence that followed his betrayal. She closed her eyes and whispered to herself, "You're stronger now. Don't let the past steal your peace." Yet deep inside, a storm had awakened. 2 days later, another message came. Then another. "Please talk to me. I need to see you." She ignored them all, but his persistence burned through her calm. When she picked up Liam from school that week, a sleek black car stood parked across the street. For a moment she thought it was her imagination. Then she saw him step out. Time stopped. Aaron looked older, the same proud face now softened by something unfamiliar. Remorse. He didn't speak. Neither did she. The years between them said everything words couldn't. The twins peeked curiously from behind her, unaware of who the man was. Maya's heart ached as she realized fate had dragged him back into their lives, not for her forgiveness, but for the truth he could no longer ignore. She whispered, "You found us. Now what?" And in that single question, their past and present collided, setting the stage for the reckoning they both knew was coming. Aaron's voice trembled as he finally spoke. "I didn't know, Maya. If I had—" But she stopped him with one glance. The sound of his name on her doorstep after 3 years felt unreal, almost cruel. The twins stood beside her, clutching her hands, their innocent eyes darting between the 2 adults whose silence said everything. Maya wanted to shut the door again, to protect the life she'd built, but fate didn't give her that luxury. Aaron wasn't the same man she'd left behind. The arrogance was gone, replaced by something raw, something almost broken. "I saw the photo," he said softly. "They look just like me." His voice cracked halfway through the sentence. Maya's heart twisted, but she didn't let it show. "You lost the right to compare," she said quietly. "They are mine." The pain behind her calm words made him flinch. He looked at the boys again, tears gathering in his eyes, as if every breath he took was a silent apology. She stepped outside, closing the door behind her so the twins wouldn't hear. "You don't get to walk back into our lives because guilt finally found you," she whispered. "They don't need your name. They have me." For a moment he said nothing, just looked at her with the kind of regret that words could never erase. Maya turned away, her voice trembling but firm. "You taught me how to survive without you. Don't ruin that lesson now." But deep inside, something fragile stirred, a battle between forgiveness and the strength to never need it. That night, Maya couldn't sleep. The twins were tucked safely in their beds, their small breaths steady, peaceful. But her heart felt like it was walking between 2 worlds, the one she had built through pain and resilience, and the one that once promised forever before collapsing. Aaron's face wouldn't leave her mind. Those eyes that used to look through her now looked for her, desperate and full of regret. She hated how her heart still recognized that look. The next morning he returned, not with flowers or excuses, but with a small envelope. Inside were 3 pages, a letter, a bank document closing his company's biggest deal, and a photograph of the 3 of them he had printed from the viral post. "I sold everything," he said quietly. "Not to buy forgiveness, but to start over the right way." Maya didn't speak. She only watched him kneel down to meet his sons for the first time. "Hi," he said softly, voice breaking. "I'm just a friend of your mom's." Liam smiled. Noah nodded shyly. When Aaron left that day, Maya stood by the window, watching him disappear down the street. She realized that life had already given her what she needed, not revenge, not closure, but peace. The kind that comes from surviving what was meant to destroy you, she whispered to herself. He may have lost us once, but I found myself. And as the morning sun filled the room, Maya knew her story wasn't one of heartbreak. It was one of rebirth.